Welcome back to the Balancing Act podcast. I'm Andy Tempe. On the Balancing Act, we talk to business leaders and industry experts to explore the balancing acts we play in our professional lives and learn about the events that put rocket boosters behind their career success. Today, we have Naren Aryal joining us. Naren is the CEO and publisher of Amplify Publishing Group, so we'll be using his expertise to draw back the curtain just a little bit on the publishing industry. Welcome to the show, Naren.
Hi, Andy. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and in the spirit of full disclosure, Naren leads the business that is publishing my second book, The Balanced Business. So I'm really happy that to have you on the show, and I'm very thankful for the work that we are doing together. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. We're looking forward to launching your book. We are to the point where we've uploaded it to the printer, and now we are planning a launch. Excited.
Yes, the launch, the dreaded launch. Naren, before we get started, we do this on all our shows. Please tell our listeners your story.
Sure. So I am CEO of Amplify Publishing Group. We are one of the fastest growing, actually the fastest growing hybrid publishing companies in America. And for those of you that may not know what that means, we occupy the space between traditional publishing on one hand and self-publishing on the other. This is not only my passion, my business, it's also my passion. We've got 30 full-time publishing professionals. We do a lot of great work with interesting people, this host included in that. And we publish across all genres. Where I spend most of my time is working with business executives and thought leaders who are interested in adding their voice to important conversations of the day. This happens to be a second career for me. I used to be a lawyer, and I put that in the rearview mirror to work on my publishing business and really pursue my passion, which is Amplify Publishing Group.
That's awesome. So you're a recovering lawyer. I love it. I know a lot of recovering lawyers who are now off in business, so I'll add you to that list. If you had to pick one event in your life that was a key accelerant for your career, what would that be?
Let's see, at least as related to Amplify Publishing Group, I mentioned that I was a former lawyer, and in the early days, I was trying to balance my legal career and this business that I was trying to get off the ground. And we reached a point after some early success where I had to make a decision whether I'm all in or I'm going to do this as a hobby. And so you can imagine with a young family walking away from a legal career that was paying me, nicely, to put all that on hold and aside, really, and really focus on building this company. That was the key thing. Once I decided I'm going all in, there's no turning back. That was, in fact, the accelerator that really made everything that followed possible.
Yeah. How long from that point where you made that decision to when you started to feel comfortable with that decision?
It was definitely a process. And I like to tell people that, when I started, my horizon for the new company was maybe, a month. I want to make it through the month, make sure that, things get done, people get paid. And then as you go along and become further established, instead of a month, maybe it's 6 months. And then at a certain point, you achieve certain things and your horizon is a year. And now after 20 years, my horizon is more like 5 years. I'm planning for what's happening in 5 years or 10 years or, at some point thinking about an exit. So it's definitely a process. And my situation, I don't think, is any different than what a lot of entrepreneurs face when they start new ventures.
Yeah. So during your nearly 20 years as a leader in the publishing industry, you've worked with many personalities and executives, myself included. If you had to choose the most important balancing act that a publisher and a leader of a publishing business has to play, what would that be?
Great question. And I'm sure we came across some of these considerations in our work together. We work with super accomplished folks that are accustomed to being leaders, and they've got clear visions in terms of what they want to achieve with a book project, and the specifics of a book project, like a cover design or editing or whatever the case is. And so we have to balance what we know to be true, best practices in the world of books and publishing, with an author client's vision. And there's a lot of give and take, and there's no right answer across the board, but just being open, and it goes both ways, to expectations of the authors and what we know about the business, and vice versa.
Yeah. I'm sure that is easier in some circumstances than it is in others. Let's narrow the scope just a little bit to you specifically as an individual. What's the most important balancing act that you've played that has contributed to your career success? I presume the answer is different from the previous answer, but I don't want to assume so.
Yeah, it is different, and it really comes down to mindset for me. As an entrepreneur, when you go into it, you really need to expect some turbulence along the way. And so when I reached a point where my mindset was expecting the turbulence and embracing the turbulence, as opposed to getting down or less productive ways of dealing with business challenges, we'll call them. Once I appreciated that these challenges also represented opportunities, that's when things really began to click for me. So I would say embracing the challenges. For me personally, when that became a regular part of my DNA, that's when things really started picking up for me.
Yeah, a lot of people allow that turbulence to just weigh down on them and really press on themselves. How do you shed that pressure and allow yourself to embrace the turbulence and turn turbulence into an opportunity?
I think, again, it's a process. And look, I've been doing this now for 20 years. There are very few people in the world that know this business as well as I do. And just reminding yourself that you're here because you belong to be here, and you're the best or one of the best equipped to handle these challenges. If you can get there, and it's not being boastful by any stretch, it's being respectful for what you've accomplished. That gives you the confidence to overcome and to make decisions that will serve your company in the long run. And even if they don't always work out, by the way, of course. And even if they don't work out any specific decision, you know that you've gone through the right steps to make those decisions. And so there's a lot of satisfaction, and you can rest easy knowing that the process was gone through and you're the right person to make the decision.
Yeah. Thank you for highlighting the concept of belonging in your answer. This whole notion of I belong here. I am meant for this. I am built for this. That can be a great mechanism for folks to determine whether a career arc is really right for them. It's that sense of confidence, belonging. Okay, I'm here. We're really going to double down and make this work and do a great job. Thank you for framing it that way.
Yeah, and one thing that is it's also an honor to be able to lead the people that I lead here and the clients that look up to me. So this notion of belonging is really important, and I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah. So before we break for commercial, let's talk about your clients. These folks that, like me, are aspiring to write a book. What do you think your clients need to balance when they're considering the commitment to write a book?
Great question. And so the big thing is really to understand why, right? If why is just to check a box on your career or your platform or your whatever the case may be, you might want to reassess. Have a good why. Why are you doing this? What are the benefits that you anticipate? And it's got to be well beyond, hey, I want to get this book out there so I can sell a bunch of copies, which is great. Everybody wants to do that. But there's typically a greater why. And I'd like to always challenge the folks that I talk to and work with to pinpoint that why.
Yeah. There is an exercise in the continuous improvement world called the 5 whys. I write about it quite frequently, and it is highlighted in my next book. So if you're a leader thinking about writing a book, please follow Naren's advice and utilize the 5 whys as an exercise. Ask yourself why, until you really get to root cause. And if root cause is, some type of project that helps boost the ego, then it's probably the wrong reason. So,
hey Andy, I should have had a footnote, an attribution to your book when I gave my answer, because I recall that. And another point is simply, it's a lot of work, and you know this, right?
Yeah.
To do it the right way, it's a lot of work, and so make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and those reasons are vast, and I've heard many really compelling reasons over the years, and they vary from author to author.
Yeah, there are no shortcuts. So we're going to take a very short commercial break, and we'll be right back with Naren Aryal. I'm Andrew Temte. The alignment of personal purpose with that of the business we lend our talents to is essential to achieving optimal work-life balance. But do you know what your personal purpose is? To help answer this crucial question, I've created a guidebook to help define your personal purpose and a vision statement to serve as your North Star. Visit andrewtemte.com/purpose to download your free copy today. And we're back with Naren Aryal, expert in the publishing industry, talking about the balancing acts that leaders play. Naren, on this show, we talk a lot about lifelong learning. Can you help us understand your personal journey of lifelong learning, when you first realized that learning never stops? And does the concept of balance play into an individual's journey to becoming that lifelong learner?
Wow, that's a deep.
There's a lot there.
That's a deep question. So I'll relate it back to the type of work that we do here. Every book project is different, right? And so I have got to, on the projects we work with on, have some level of understanding of the book's subject matter. Right now, everyone knows that AI is everywhere, and we're working on 2 or 3 books about AI. So I feel compelled to learn as much as I can about the subject matter for any given book. And so, you can imagine, the breadth of projects that we come across. And so whether it's technology, in this case, AI, whether it's leadership or, product management or, just a host of different subjects that we come across, it's important that we understand it, at least to a level to have a cogent conversation with the author. I expect that of myself and my team, and our clients really appreciate that as well. So every project is different. Really having a baseline understanding. We're not subject matter experts, of course, but having a baseline understanding will improve our ability to provide the services that we provide our authors.
Yeah. Now, Naren, we also frequently discuss the balancing act that we play between the application of technical skill and human skill in the modern world of work. You just talked about artificial intelligence. We live in this world where AI will be taking over more of the mundane technical aspects of our job. And so this balance between human skill and technical skill is going to become more and more important in the future. If you had a college graduate with designs to enter the publishing industry sitting right in front of you right now, what advice do you give to them to balance human and technical skill as they enter the publishing industry?
So just before joining you today, I was on LinkedIn, and one of our authors, William Kilmer, had a LinkedIn post where he had his audiobook that was generated by AI. And I listened to it and darn, it was his voice, but it really wasn't his voice. It was AI generated. And so this is a timely topic. We've mentioned AI a couple of times before. And so, this is coming if it's not, and it's coming faster and faster day by day, right? And so what I would tell a college graduate, a recent college graduate is, the human skills are growing in importance because that is going to be your differentiator as these mundane tasks get automated, excuse me. And so I would say the quote unquote soft skills are becoming way more relevant and an area of differentiation than ever before. Work on those things. Work on your interpersonal skills. Work on your work ethic, right? And these are things that, by the way, can be worked on. It's not, you got it or you don't. And so I think about the young folks that we've got working here. Those that sort of differentiate themselves here are the ones that have worked on those skills and as a result have advanced, at least here. And I know, we're no different than a lot of other places.
I really like how, you were just riffing off the top of your head, I'm sure, but work ethic came out as a human skill. A lot of times when pundits and experts are talking about human skills, we're talking about compassion and some of the higher order human skills, but don't skip over I think the point to be made here is don't skip over the baseline human skills, getting up in the morning, energizing yourself, working on your work ethic, because just like it was 30 years ago, showing up and being present in the world of work is a big part of anyone's future career success. So thanks for pinpointing that. Naren, I'm going to take you on a little side adventure. If you had access to a time machine and could send a message, maybe it's only 280 characters, to an earlier version of yourself, what would the message be, and what previous version do you choose to send it to?
It's funny that we were just talking about work ethic because as a young professional, I probably could have improved a little bit in that department. And I would say that I probably left a job a little earlier than I should have on a couple occasions because things got hard. And sometimes it's just easier to look over there and see something that seems better at the time. But there is no substitution for facing a challenge if it's in your current position and doubling down and really trying to make your current situation the best it can be. And, I'm not advocating that no one ever leave their job, of course. But sometimes, many times I'll talk to folks that are too quick to bolt a situation. And, I fell into that trap early in my career. And I understand the appeal, but that's one area where I see too many people hurting themselves in terms of their career arc that we ought to think about.
Yeah. In my first book, I have a quote that I really like, which is the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side. It's just different grass. And what I mean by that is most of the challenges, especially the interpersonal and the human challenges that you might face in a particular role in a particular company, do not miraculously disappear when you jump ship and go and work for somebody else, for a different company. Yes, it might be a different culture, but all cultures have the positive aspects and also the things that they're working on. So if you are going to jump ship, make sure that you're aligning your personal purpose, why you exist, with the purpose of the organization that you're going to, because otherwise you'll highly likely just fall into many of the same traps as Naren has pointed out. Naren, final question.
Yep.
Tell us more about Amplify Publishing and what's next for you.
Sure. So your listeners can learn more at amplifypublishinggroup.com. Again, we are in the hybrid publishing space. What's next for us is to continue working on fantastic new projects, having impactful launches with some really big names in the thought leadership space and the business space. And also we publish across all genres, but that's just where my emphasis is presently. We also serve as a private label partner for entities like Real Clear Politics. We publish our political titles under Real Clear Publishing. We have an imprint deal with Marshall Goldsmith's 100 Coaches. So there'll be more private label publishing deals in our future. And we'll also continue to work with business executives and leaders on incredible and timely thought leadership books. So that's what I see.
Yeah. And if you had to pick like one title that you're just really excited about right now, what is that?
Well, I would, of course, say your title. Right?
No. You can't do that.
I can't do that. Well, let's say just today this is top of mind. We just started our pre-sale for a book called it's a book about the writing of a business book, and so if you go on our website, you can learn more about this book. It's by Josh Bernoff. It's called Building a Business Book That Matters. It's really exciting, and it doesn't hurt that he interviewed me, and and I've got a few quotes in there, and we're publishing the book, and it is really applicable to a lot of our clients and would-be clients.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait to read that. I've read many business books in my career. Most of them are not necessarily earth-shattering. There might be one or two key points that come out. So I'm hopefully this book that you just described makes an impact on the why that we talked about, that you talked about before, about, why am I writing this book? What's the purpose of this business book? And hopefully we can have better business books that come out in the future. So thank you for that, Naren.
You're welcome. And by the way, the name of the book is Build a Better Business Book, and the author is Josh Bernoff. You can go to bernoff.com, which of course has a link to our website, but that's just one that happened to be top of mind today.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Naren, you're doing a great service to the broader community with in hybrid publishing. I'm proud to be working with you. So thank you for joining us on the show today. My name is Andy Temte. This is the Balancing Act podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast services, as well as out on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, rate, share the show. We're creating a public good where hopefully we can lift everyone up and for successful futures. So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Andy.